So I'm a U.S. citizen. I have a daughter in Jamaica. She's 5. Is it true that she's automatically a citizen because I'm American?
Was she born when you were an American?
Yes.
Okay.
She's born in Jamaica.
Are you born American or are you a naturalized American?
I was born American.
Okay. I assume you've lived in the United States your whole life.
My whole life.
Okay, yes. She is an automatic U.S. citizen. She should go to the U.S. Embassy. You get a record of a birth from abroad, a certificate of birth of abroad from the embassy, and you can also apply for a U.S. passport for her as well. The I-130 applied concurrently with the I-485. The petitioner is a permanent resident. One child together born after petitioning. How do we tell USCIS about it? How does telling them about our child make any difference in our case? You don't have to tell them right now, but when you show up to your interview, you bring the birth certificate, and having a child born in the marriage is very good evidence of it's a real marriage. And that's what you need to prove. It's a bona fide marriage to get a green card. Here's how babies born outside of the United States get their automatic citizenship through their father. Go to the U.S. Embassy website online for the country where the child is. Fill out a CRBA, a council report of birth abroad. You will need to prove that the U.S. citizen father was living in the United States for 5 years prior to the child's birth, and 2 of those years was after the age of 14. Alternatively, you can get that same 5 years through the grandparents, as long as the biological father is a U.S. citizen too. The U.S. citizen father does not have to be there in the country to bring the child into the embassy. They can fill out a form to have somebody else do it. Once you have the CRBA, the Council Report of Birth Abroad, that's definitive proof that child's a U.S. citizen, and then when that child can then apply for a U.S. passport, and when he or she enters the U.S., get a certificate of citizenship. When you give birth in the United States to a U.S. citizen child, you get no benefits, 0, until your child's 21. 21 years later, your child can file for you.
I have my firstborn. She's 21 years old, U.S. citizen. And we're trying to bring her mother in. What way would be better for us? To him, or if I have to go and remarry her or whatever?
No, you don't need to remarry her. He's a U.S. citizen. He's 21. He can file for his mother right now. It'll be a lot faster than you traveling, doing a marriage, coming back. That all takes time. He can file for her immediately. If he's not working, if he's in university, he doesn't earn enough money, you can always give a second affidavit of support. You don't even have to be married to the woman.
If you are an immigrant, you came to the U.S. for the opportunity of your children, and you are on a timer, like you have 6 months, and you want to be able to travel in and out, how is it with your papers being already in? You know, what restrictions do you have?
Who's sponsoring you?
There's actually no sponsor. It's just that I'm just with family, and, you know, my children go to school here.
What's your children's status?
2 of them are U.S. citizens, but they're 10 and under.
They were born in the United States?
Yes.
Okay. And you're traveling on your visitor's visa after giving birth to 2 children in the United States, and you want to know how you can stay here longer?
Yes. And
that's a problem. The United States looks very down on giving birth in the United States while you're on a visitor's visa. They find that to be a misrepresentation. They're going to deny that. They're going to say these children should never have been born in the United States to begin with. I'm just telling you what the government says. I'm not saying this is my opinion. I'm telling you what the government's going to say. So you have a huge problem. I would hold on 1 second. The following people were not born in the United States of America. 1, people born on military bases abroad. If you're born on a military base abroad, you were born in the sovereign territory of another country. You were not born on U.S. soil. 2, people born on flagged vessels or airplanes outside of the U.S. territorial waters or U.S. airspace. If you were born on a boat in international waters, even if it's a U.S. flagged boat, you're not born in the United States of America. If you were born on Delta Airlines flying over France, you were not born in the United States of America. If you were born in the Panama Canal Zone to non-U.S. citizen parents, you were not born in the United States of America. If you were born in a U.S. embassy outside of the United States, you were not born in the United States of America. When you are born abroad, you gain citizenship through the citizenship of your biological parents.
My mother's first name was spelled wrong on my birth certificate.
Right.
But that's what I used to do the application, and that's what I used to get my visa also. Would it cause an issue in the future?
Nah, I wouldn't worry one thing about it. In the future, when you're a citizen and you go to turn around to go file for your mom, her name on her birth certificate will be different than the name on your birth certificate. So you may need affidavits, or you may even need to take a blood test, at that point. But for you filing for your mom, it has no bearing.
Okay, it was an error, like they just put an extra letter in her name.
Yeah. Even then, probably when you go to file for her, affidavits would be fine. The reason people want to give birth in the United States is to give that unborn child U.S. citizenship and to give that unborn child an access to a U.S. passport for life. Because with U.S. citizenship and a U.S. passport, that child has the highest likelihood of success than being born anywhere else.